Hi. I am. I want to share from one of my own experiences with therapy. Um, I'm just going to take a breath first. Yeah. Yeah. I'm um I'm noticing some hesitancy in regards to sharing. Actually, it's not as strong as it was this morning. And like I'm torn between parts of me want to talk it through. Parts of me definitely wants people to know like what's possible. I think there are parts of me that wants to hold up the experience so you can feel what it's like. And parts of me are like, nah, nah. Why should I give such a beautiful experience to just anyone? It's like, not everyone deserves such a beautiful thing. I don't want to sell myself. I don't want to sell my vulnerability in a way. I don't want to sell my it's so sacred, the process I'm in. So I'm sitting now thinking if there's anything that I want to be mindful about when sharing to alleviate like the last part. Maybe I want to put it on Patreon so only people that pay can watch. I'll see where I because I'm not satisfied with that because I want people to really like get the experience and most people will not. Yeah, I need people to stumble upon this video and watch it and be like, wow, really? That's possible? Hell yeah. Can't do that if it's behind a paywall. So I'll see what I end up sharing, how I end up sharing, and take it from there. So just to like give you some framework, I've been working with the same practitioner for maybe 4 months, 5, I'm not sure. He is highly competent. He is clearly a man. I think he is older than me, but I'm not sure. He's a father and a husband. He's been in the field for 15 years, I just learned. And he is, don't know how well traversed you are into different therapy modalities, but he will be focused on my emotions, the system inside. So he will have like an overview and help me map out how like what comes up in what situations and how can I be in charge of that. And he will talk directly to parts as well, so I can easily step into a part and have a conversation with him from that part and then come back to my center perspective and we figure things out, you know? and he's really focused on what's the, like, what happens, like I feel like this is missing in many like client practitioner relationships, is the relationship between the client and the practitioner themselves, because it's bound to, because it's a relationship like any other relationship, so something is bound to come up. That's one. And it's something so different to, for me to show up in a session and talk about this thing happened with this guy, or this thing happened with this friend, whatever, and to talk about it like that, that can be challenging enough. But then if something happens between me and him, all of a sudden everything is in the present moment, and I have to watch him in the eyes and be like, hey, I feel that way when you said that. I'm having all these big feelings right now towards you. Or in the same space, or in the same room, online room, but still. it's such a different ball game, but so valuable. And he has pointed that out, how valuable. He was like, the real gold is if something happens between us, which is very reassuring to me. So, with that being said, it's a few 3-4 sessions ago maybe, where I was encountering like a really wounded deep core part, and up until that point I have gone into my parts and he talked to them. But in that session he was like, I want you, like, here are my thoughts. I think it's important that you connect to this part, so you hold space, or you create the container for this part, and I'm the container for you being the container for this part. So he wanted me to talk to the part, for the sake of, I'm the safest, or I can always be there, so in that sense I'm the safest attachment person for that part. And I fully agreed. Everything he said like made sense, and it's wise, So then we did that. I connected to that part while he held me in that process. And after the session, so I'm happy, everything's fine. After the session, I'm like, wow, I'm hurt. I'm hurt. And what was coming up for me was, he doesn't, let me feel that. Like, I'm not wanted. I'm too much. My feelings are too much. Like, it's not, he doesn't really want to hold me. He doesn't really want to be there. All he's doing is like training me to be able to do it for myself, because I'm not really wanted. And like that was that, it like that pain was so deep as well. With it's how to explain this. It's like with, so if you can like imagine that I'm a being, like, and it goes like this, and there are deeper levels. So much of me was thinking like, no, I know he's interested because I can see it in his eyes. I know he's present because I can feel he's not wavering, he's not checking out, And he talked to many of my parts and he enjoys that. I can tell, I can see that. So I have a whole lot of trust, but still that pain, so like deeply embedded in my being. It's just like, no, I'm distrustful. He doesn't want me. And like that's really in my feelings now. So next session comes and I'm like, okay, so can I tell you something? And he's like, yes, of course. And I'm like putting everything on the table. Just a brave thing to do. Just giving myself some credit. So I share with him that I had that reaction. I became aware of that reaction after the last session, and I think it's important for me to talk about it. So I've already at that point journaled, and the part has come up in my journaling, so I've gotten like some understanding of what's going on, and I'd made the decision that I will advocate for that part, you know. So he's like, yes, that's important. And I think 1 or 2 sessions passes by and we are not addressing it because life, you guys, so much is happening. So we're like dealing with other things. But then in my last session, on Wednesday, which is 2 days ago, it comes up. I don't even remember how it comes up, but it comes up. So we make the decision to venture into that landscape. And so that's the experience that I wanted to tell you. I've just given you the backstory now. I'm thinking like where to start, how to convey this. It was such a beautiful experience that like truly beautiful. It's weird because I can't even fully remember. You know, it was such a not thinking thing, it was such a feeling thing. And yes, I think it started with we were talking about what I had noticed, and he said like some reassuring things. Like I think he said something like, but at some point he said he was really sorry that he hurt me, and that it was not true that he didn't want me, or he like it was not true that he wasn't interested in my feelings, or that he didn't want to be present for my feelings. And he said, I mean, look at our relationship so far, like I'm here for all of it, you know that. And I'm like, yeah, I know that, but this feeling, this really deep feeling, it's just like doesn't budge. And he was like, I get that, I really want to be here for you though, like I am here for you. And he kept like repeating things like that until I felt myself. And I don't know if you've done some work, maybe you recognize this, but it's like the visual of it is like I can feel that pain deep in my belly, almost like my solar plexus belly, in the middle of my body, like it's like pulling down feeling. It's almost like a bubble, and I can feel the pain is in the bubble. And I can feel like this voice like, no, he doesn't want me, I'm not wanted, I'm a burden. I can sense all these things. And then it's almost like the bubble pops, and I can feel like that face that belongs to that voice comes up into my face, and I feel myself like I can feel suspiciousness in my face and in my eyes, and I can feel like I'm looking at him and I'm measuring him now, because it's the part that was in the bubble, the young part, she's now online, you know. And I tell him like I can feel myself being suspicious right now, so I can tell that this part that was in this bubble, she is here. And he's like, good, that's good, That's good. Let her be here. Let her be here. And from that point on, I think it's just me voicing one thing at a time. Because she was measuring him and she was like, this doesn't make any sense. This doesn't make any sense. Why do you not want to hurt me? You know, and she comes from a place of she holds a lot of experiences. So she's asking these questions because this is like, those are all her experiences. That's all she knows. And then she's seeing something in him it differs. It doesn't fit into her bag of proof, you know? So it's like this trying to make sense of it. So I mean, I know that that's my job, to convey her, and his job is to, like, as he said that I want to embody the, I don't know what he said exactly, like he wants to embody the presence, the being there that I should have had that I didn't have. You know, this is how you're supposed to be met. And I might cry now. Because he was so unwavering in his presence. He was so unwavering, like a rock, like a mountain, you know, like I was about to say like a tree, but it was bigger than that. And I remember at some point I was conveying on behalf of this part, like, why are you not scared? Because my experience is, if I express that someone did something that hurt me, they will get defensive. They will have like this wave of shame and be like, I didn't do that. What's wrong with you? Like, I will be made wrong in one way or another. Or they will feel like so bad about themselves that they kind of like shrink internally. And try to apologize, for instance, to make it good. Which doesn't fucking work. That's like weak shit behavior. So that part is really like, why? Why am I not seeing fear in your eyes? Why am I not seeing shame in your eyes? Why are you still so solidly present? Why are you not like shrinking in your energy? And she's upset, you know, why? And to just have him be there and like I feel like I'm botching this completely because I don't remember fully, because during that whole thing my brain was not working. I couldn't make thoughts, really. I was just feeling and conveying. But he said something like, well, he thought for a long time on that question, actually, and he was like, I don't know why I'm not scared. Like, that can happen sometimes, that when someone has like a really big emotional reaction, that my first reaction can be like, oh, here it comes, like here's a big wave, it's going to hit. But he's just like, I'm just here and I never meant to hurt you. I mean, I feel sad, and I could see sadness in his eyes. I feel sad that I hurt you because I never want to hurt you. I don't want you to be in pain. And I don't remember if he said he was sad or angry or both, that that was my expectation. That this is what I'm expecting. And he kept saying also that like this is so good because this is happening between me and you. I did something that upset you and you are telling me in this moment. Like, and thank God he kept repeating that, because that was hard for me to grasp, that I was sitting in front of a man and he hurt me. And I was able to tell him, and he was receiving me with love. He was allowing me to be hurt. And he said at some point, I don't know what to do with this. Like, there's nothing to do in a way. There's just, you're hurt. And I'm sorry. And I'm here. And you're allowed to be hurt. Which is also the fact that he said, like, I don't know what to do. And in a way, there is nothing to do. Because my baseline will be like, I need to get over this. I can't be hurt and have the connection at the same time. Which I'm saying that, and that's kind of, that's, I didn't realize that. I'm realizing it a bit more now that I said it, that it's possible to be hurt and not lose connection. And it's, I said this during the session, that I don't know how much pain I can take when this is how I'm going to be met, because it feels like I can tolerate a lot of pain if I'm allowed to feel the pain and have you present. Of course, like, it's more complex than that. It needs to not be done intentionally, I imagine, and he has to really, like, he can't be dumb and hurt me and be like, oh, I'm going to be present with you now. Like, no, but and I kept like sitting with that, and with the part, and with myself, and with him, and just, it's almost like I just sank through the layers, or the layers just kept coming up, because I'm like, I'm terrified right now. Like, I feel so vulnerable. I feel completely naked. I don't trust you. I'm scared. And he was like, let the fear just be there. And I'm like, okay, I'm breathing, and I'm trying, and I'm like, got so upset at some point because he's just there, and I'm like, why the fuck are you just being present? Don't. And that, it was so hard for me. And he was like, yeah, I understand that you're upset. That's okay. And after that, I think, and it's so fascinating, because I think what I wanted to say in that moment was, just don't just sit there and love me. Like, fuck you. Don't love me like that. But I didn't, like, I have a hard time with the word love, so I didn't express that. Which led him, I think, to be like, he was just looking at me, and he's like, dancing around the word. I'm noticing that you're dancing around the word. You don't want to say the word love. And I broke down. And it's just like when this reaction of just like crying comes out. And I just like, no, I can't take it. And he proceeds to look at me and be like, I love you. and I'm crying, you know, and I still feel that sentence, those words inside, and it's so weird because it's like that sentence has never been inside in the same way as it is right now. It sings inside my being. Like, I feel stupid saying that, but it's like hearing him and seeing him say that, like, I believe him. I believe him. And maybe you can be like, but he's a practitioner, like, blah blah blah, you're paying him, blah blah blah. Yeah, all of that, and I believe him. It's not like because I'm a client and paying him that he can't love me. Like, he can love me and those things. I had a wave of shame come up, humiliation, like I was feeling murderous at some point, and I think on a couple of occasions he asked me how would it look if you were to completely surrender to this feeling. And I let go a few times, and I could feel like the deepening in my crying in those moments. And at some point I could feel myself, like, it's almost like I dropped through and I was out on the other end of all the layers, and I could feel, it's almost like something was in my whole body, and it's just like it left, and left me feeling softer. It felt like all the cells in my body was just like and for the first time, I think, in my life, I felt like this is feminine. This is the feminine, you know? I rarely feel like a female. I don't know why. But that feeling, that flavor, it's like I feel like a woman. Which, like, you'll never hear me really say that and feel that, mean that. And I was just sitting with that feeling. I could even, like, hear my voice drop into, like, more softness and richness, fullness. And as I sat with that, I could feel like there's still something lingering. So there's residue left still. And I voiced that, and it was like the feeling of, like, I feel like such a burden. Like, I can understand, kind of, I said to him, I can understand that you're doing this because you're getting paid, or this is like one off, or it's like, this is 90 minutes and it's your job. I can't expect this to be like real life. I can't expect to have a partner who wants this, because this is therapy. This is therapy. It doesn't even belong in a relationship. And I had all these things come up and come out. And he was like, but I am like this in real life also. Not that I'm holding space for people 24/7. It's like, it's not that. And he explained to me, like, I'll see if I can remember what he said. He said, because I'm sitting there from my perspective, feeling like, oh my god, like, I'm such a burden. how can this is like, this is a job for him, which is, this is how my mom made me feel. Exactly. This is, yeah, I'll be here for you because it's my job. I be here because it's the right thing to do. I'll be here and I'll be patient. Get over yourself, kind of. And she might not even have been aware of that, but that was the feeling I got a lot of times, over and over. So he looks at me and he's like, let me explain what it's like from my perspective as a man, like from my experience. How can I not want this? How can I not want it? It's your, this is, I've never, in my 15 years as a practitioner, he said, I don't think I've ever been this deep with someone. It's a tremendous gift. It's an honor to have you surrender, which made me bawl even more, because this is like, I put myself in his hands for those 90 minutes. I really put myself in his hands on a level that I hadn't before. I really trusted him to hold me, to care for me, to be responsible for me when I choose not to be responsible for myself, in a way. I didn't know I was going to cry this much. And hearing him say that this is like witnessing me, like, first of all being trusted, but getting me, like, that's he it's a gift to receive all that I am in the way that I just gave myself to him. And something in my brain, it was like, it was one way, and hearing him say that, like, my whole brain just twisted. It's almost like something turned around, and I was like, I cannot think right now, but some things I can feel, it's going like this inside my head to kind of like change perspectives, I guess. And now, after, I can kind of like put myself in his position as a man and be like, somehow this is like nourishment to him, to have, it's like, because to have my energy in the way that he had. And I can when I say nourishment, I know what that's like, because when I talk to, it happens mostly with Nura, don't know how to say it right now, with one of my friends. When I talk to her, she's so delicious to talk to. It's like her, I don't know, the energy that comes out of her energy, like her being, it's like nectar. I don't know if that's the right word, but it's so fulfilling. It's like when you have like a really ripe mango and you can just eat it from, like, you can peel it and just eat it, and it's like dripping down your face and your chest, and it's the perfect, exquisite taste. That's how she feels like. It fills me. I think that's how he feels with my opening, with my surrender. And I'm like, oh, hell yeah, I want that for myself, so I can understand then that he wants it. So then I'm thinking, okay, some men want that. And I'm realizing maybe also now that because he wants that, he knows how to show up to get that. And it can't be in his attitude like, I'm doing this for me. It cannot be like an objectification. It has to be like a deep respect for my, how to convey this, unless he is genuine in my best interest, that surrender will not happen. So he has to really 100% genuinely like want the process and not be attached to like I have to do this to make her surrender. It has to be like in service of, I don't know, in service of I'm not thinking. The present moment, the now. I mean, I don't know, the awareness in the now, the love in the now, the containment in the now, I think. I didn't know I was going to relive that. I didn't know I was going to give that as vulnerably as I did. And somehow I feel more okay, actually, putting this out there, because this is what therapy can be like. And I'm already noticing like some changes in my beliefs, my thoughts, and how I want to show up, but it's still like I cannot put it into words yet because it's too early, not in the day, but it's too early in the integration. It's also, it's so interesting because I'm so used to thinking, using my brain to like understand and integrate and all that stuff, and my brain's not working. It's still not really working. So I'll just go through the motions and clarity will come. Yeah. This is what good therapy is though. Really good therapy. This is it. It's the same therapy that I can give. So just putting that out there at the end of the video, in case you're intrigued, in case you want to have a conversation about working together. My door is open, always.